All right, one of the first things you want to do is get out of this little tiny window mode. So inside your virtual system, you notice that my optical drive is empty up here. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to do in the terminal IP adder. And if you look for the address, you'll notice that you see this is the address right here of your virtual system. That's probably not going to be a convenient address for you to be able to access your virtual system from your host from your virtual system. So what we want to do is we're going to want to change this to bridged networking. Now, before we do that, we want to change both the client, that's the Ubuntu system, and the host. If we just change it to bridged networking right now, it's only going to change one of them, and then we got to go in and manually do like 15 steps or something like that. I've done it before, but it's a nuisance. So before you make that change, we want to install Oracle's guest editions. So if we take this and we come over here to the control thing, and we click on choose a disk right there, VBox Guest Editions ISO. Now, I put this in my downloads directory so that VirtualBox can find it. I had to go find this in the install of VirtualBox on applications on Windows. I had to go find it and copy it so that it can find it. And each time I copy this ISO over to my downloads directory so it can find it. You can also just download a new copy of the guest editions from the VirtualBox site into your download directory. Either way, if you put that in the optical drive, and then you come back to over here in the system, it'll say something like this. Okay? Do you want to run the stuff on this? And this is going to update your OS and the Ubuntu OS, install some drivers that are specific to this. Click run of this. And let it sit here and run. It's going to take a few minutes. We're going to do a little bit of time travel. All right, so it needs to be rebooted after this, so I'm going to actually become root and do reboot, which will restart the system. If you have users on your system, I don't recommend that you do reboot this way. I recommend that you do it in a little bit more graceful way. Reboot is the faster way. You can do shutdown with a graceful timeout and give them a chance to log out, stuff like that. But this is the quick way to reboot it. And hopefully it will install this. If it doesn't, we'll go back and rerun it, because it did say that it did not build everything, but I think it has the drivers that we need without building and kernel headers. Otherwise, we're going to have to do some more installs. And let's find out. If we come up here to the corner of the window, and guess what? We can now resize the window. That's a good sign that this is actually set up correctly. Is when I drag the window out, I get a bigger window. I'll close that little warning, whatever it was. And now we actually have the ability to go in and make configuration changes over here to make this for our network. System, storage, where is network in here? Right there. Okay, and instead of NAT, I want bridged adapter. And say OK. And this should set it as a bridged adapter on both sides. Now if I come over here and I bring up a terminal, I should be able to do IP adder and get, yes, something on my local network that is on this virtual system, the same as my local network. Now I'll be able to access the system from both sides, because that way this system can see the host can see this. If I've got more computers on my local network, which I do, I can actually log in from some other computer like my Windows machine off here to the right that you can't see, but I can, and be able to log into this virtual system. Or I can do applications development on that, and when I have Postgres running, it will be able to see this system on the virtual system. So suddenly this becomes way more useful because now I've exposed it to my local network. And if you do it in this order, you don't have to worry about the configuration, because the bridged adapter stuff all gets set from the VirtualBox command console window. It can, on the outside, tell it, go tweak this stuff, and it does, and it works.